Okay, looks like I already have some of what I wanted to record about the health uh, offer and information, and it's over here. And I will send this link separately. It discusses a health offer. Well, let's listen to a part of it. Since we're here. Hey, my name's Bob Reynolds. I have a brief here that I've been working on. I made a video for just a short introduction. Um, I'm representing a combination of three different healing modalities that I was forced into to basically maintain my health. What I've done is I've started a school over here, and then I'm going to start engaging people into that are concerned about health. All right. Well, I'm gonna just that's there. I can send that link along, and you could watch that. Anyways, yeah, I need to focus on my health. This is something I wanted to explain. I wanted to focus on this health, and I have to get that off because of the convictions of how much I know. And there are people that are idea avatars, basically, that are looking for this. Um, but the thing is if I hadn't have gotten sick, I wouldn't have all this knowledge, and it's good. But it's I almost want to say it's almost in the way of me doing what I really came out of the service to do and what I feel is my most patriotic and most service forward thinking strategic ability that I can do for humanity is what I'm about to show you next. But it was the health offer that I need to get out. And it's really great. I have a great assistant over here with my AI stuff and all my stuff over here. Um, and this is, I'm going to show you the health stuff first, since we're on the health stuff. And that would be over. Oh, well, okay. This is a paper I'm doing on everything I know about quantum healing, quantum touch, frequencies, my body electric, all the resources of just my cool geek science stuff. You know, Victor Schoberger, um, my goodness, Dr. Emoto. Anyway, that this is a paper and a little. I think I may have mentioned something about. Anyway, so I just wanted. That's my hobby, I guess you could say. I love water. I love ripples. I love nature, and really, that's kind of what that's going to be. That's like a. It'll be an entertaining brief on actual the quantum etheric realm, and then this next one here. This is all that I call it 12 nights of integrated healing, but it's the all the doctors and protocols that I've learned over the years that's brought my life back. Like I had problems with the descending colon. They wanted to cut it out at 30 and do chemo on me, and then I survived that on some practicing these things, a system, a proven system, and it's got to be done to the T. So that saved my colon there that time. And then a few years later, and this was all the post after what's called chronic fatigue syndrome. So, like within 18 months coming out of the service, 12 months coming out of the service, I was turning down nuclear engineering consultant jobs across the states, across the world. I had turned down a couple of PhD programs in physics. I had walked away from Los Alamos Livermore Labs. I was actually working at Mare Island Naval Shipyard enforcing radiation controls on overhauling reactors on the submarines when I got sick. I'd only been out of the service for a year. And so, long story short, after I was able to take care of the colon issue, I had growth going on in my brain. Held the Clark's book. There's some stuff in there. She has a book called The Advanced Stages of Cancer, where she dissects into this what started each tumor in different parts of your body. It's different stuff. And so, with my background as a nuclear physics, I learned biophysics and I learned geophysics. And then after that, it just kept getting into like the astrophysics, the Hoagland guy, Tom Bearden, and it just kept rolling right along. So, anyways, that was this my 12 nights of different doctors and people that I've studied and enjoyed learning about. So, we're going to move this one out the way. Okay, and let's see. And so here is a short version of most of the graphics of the health program. I call it the 9 steps because it's dealing with the things I feel most immediate, and that's understanding what spike protein's doing right now. All the latest research I do have on the back of one of these documents. Okay, uh, and so I've developed from all that research and plus with my past experience a very uh, comprehensible system, okay, to try to cover all the areas that our body is being under attack. I think as an engineer and knowing nuclear power plants and having to understand and memorize all the schematics and how what's called, what they don't teach a lot out here is what's called integrated plant knowledge, where I come from in the engineering field. But in the disciplinary field, what they don't teach well here is how to cross diagnostic analysis of different disciplines, and find some commonalities, spot anomalies, make trends, build systems, right? Anyways, so this was all put together, and it's really simple. It gives a ballpark of how you can work these different programs together. And I break it down. I'm getting ready to actually break it down and itemize them. What supplements, the cost, and everybody for people. But as a bare minimum, if you have the money, okay, I would first, because of what I know what's going on and that died suddenly, or the people. There's a lot going on. I don't want to be. I'm not a buzzkill. I'm here as a survivor and to teach people I care about the foreknowledge I have to help them. This green box around this one, this right here covers spike protein, but then also some of the metals and the plastics that we're inhaling and getting into our body that's bringing about premature dementia. Uh, you know, what the EBOOO is right here is it's a kind of like a kidney dialysis, but they filter your blood out and ozonate it. And there's women, and I can send you links. There's a nurse in the UK that is healing people immensely from this. But they have 5 of the world's most powerful microscopes. They work with Dr. Group. So they're able to see when they try substances on what's going on in our blood, which it's happening to everybody. So no one can really be in denial. And you'll see my resources on the back of all this. Okay, anyways, so these things right here, there's a test that you could do to get your blood test. And there's clinics you can find in your area. That's what this link's for. You can find these clinics in your area to sample your blood. And if it's all coagulating with goop, they can help filter it out. This product right here is the main product that this doctor that's national wide right now for helping with the spike protein. Spike protein is like a fungus, like a prion, and you touch people, you breathe it, it's in the air. But Dr. Bean from India and all these resources is in here. It touches us, it goes into our bone marrow and it leaches up into our brain and comes crossing our brain blood barrier, and it's starting to destroy the hippocampus, which is a thyroid and our hormones. So it's super important to learn this because it is slowly ingratiating itself into humanity. Um, and the last thing, so there's the spike protein, that's how it's attacking our body, but then also they're finding all kinds of metals and plastics in our body that are even self-assimilating in our body. And there's a whole underground technology they're not teaching us. We have to do this on our own. We have the freedom to learn it, but they're not going to feed it to us. Okay, that's cool. So there's this what's called the internet body, uh, where they've actually hit us with a bunch of nano particles and bots that actually are able to start creating like a almost like a shadow within inside of us that hooks to our biofield that their technology is progressing towards. By removing some of that, we can minimize the exposures of the modulation of those chemicals in our body with the energy. Okay, so what I'm trying to say here is we can minimize the exposures of several things that are harming our health. This box right here is the very basic that will help the spike protein damaging the brain, the hippocampus, and the pineal gland. And then this EBO clinics will help test the blood to see if there's a huge amount of metals and plastics and nanobots in your blood that can get filtered out. And if it's not that bad, and even if you do that, they have found under the microscope that these supplements, especially this liquid EDTA, and with the binder, removes the plastic, and there's nanobots inside of us. What there's a name for it. Anyways, that's this health stuff. Okay, I really did not want to get into this. I didn't want to make a product. I didn't want to teach it to people. I didn't want to sell it to anybody, because kind of this and writing my book really is almost in the way I really want to be doing. Okay, and that's starting my ad agency, starting my marketing agency, and doing any kind of sales, solar, generators, anything. But here's what I really want to do. Hope this isn't too long. Okay, so all of this, I kind of say this, that it's in my way. That's why I'm working so hard at it, is because here's really my passion right now is building these regional food security programs. And like this one right here, this is going to be big, grandiose to most people. Okay, I'm 65. I figure if I do it right, I got a few years to really, and I have a lot of interest already in this. But this is a regional project of looking at, the greenhouses will be bigger because I'm in Tyson chicken country. Okay, so these farmers here are used to having, 9,000 square foot chicken houses. They'll have three or four of them on their farm. Well, my goal is to have 10,000, 3,000 square foot greenhouses. So that would be like having 3,000 chicken houses. Okay. All standardized, all in a synchronized in a co-op, so we can time the vegetables to market and all that in the area. And that's a lot of project. And me, my where my gift is would be like the chief of operations, okay, and office of strategic management. Is I need to be in the field training and teaching. In order to actually do the feasibility of this project, you're looking at having to build the completion of 100 greenhouses a month for 20 years. But when it's done, they're passive solar, almost completely self-sustaining, sealed, and they're growing food indefinitely, basically. And it has this new R40 glass that me and a company from Canada have been working on. And so that's my passion, is this right here, really, is getting the first prototype greenhouse off. These are all legit. Uh, these are all legit business plans. Okay, that I've opened. It's open, whatever you call it. Well, you'll have to go through and read these. This will be really cool. Okay, I think that's enough. I didn't want to burn you out, but I'll send you this link. And if you want to do anything for health right now, is a helicopter coming by? Is there microgreens? That's a whole deal right now, especially if you do the right ones and you freeze dry them. Super, condensed. Anyway, helicopters make me nervous. Okay, so I'm gonna wrap this up. This right here is there's two sides of this, and I have a gentleman that I worked with at the health department who now is a professor up in Missouri University, but his forte is writing grants. I've already talked to the woman in charge for the state for the high schools, that all of them have an open door grant for greenhouses. Now let's see, what was that greenhouse? I wanted to show you the actual greenhouse. Similar anyway. Huh. Oh, it must be in this video. That's it. Okay. So we're just watching a little bit of this. Major food crisis. Dude, this comes in really blurry like this.
With my military background, my background in local public health, I'm hunting for people to collaborate with me and other investors at actually bringing a model together. Uh, this is one of the sites. Basically, it's like taking like our countries made, the oil from Andrew Carnegie, he made the ships. Well, nowadays, our country is in peril for food, regional food, and then the environment's just hurting for it. So here's my site, here's a slide deck. I'm not going to go into that right now, but what I would like to go into is getting this out there to people to start collaborating. On this site, these are actual greenhouse business plans. I'm going to be using a company standardized greenhouse program that actually have these standardized greenhouse systems. These systems were actually developed in China. They're passive solar greenhouse systems. The back part of it is usually insulated with a pile of dirt. The front part of it is facing the sun. And they found that they put insulation blankets over it in the winter, and they're amazingly efficient. And
Okay.
people in
Let's see. How do I get out of this? All right. Well, I think that is probably plenty. Hope I didn't bore you with that all. The health stuff's important. I didn't want to overload you with that. At the same time, I want to make sure you're aware of it because there's just a few things that you really need to do, and you'll be able to watch everybody else slowly change over the next few years, and you won't, and it'll be scary. Anyway, you take care, and I hope this worked out.